Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy DJ Big Bopper,
And it's your girl DJ Shar Dangerous.
and thank y'all for tuning in for episode 5 of Wave of the Planet. And Sade, what you got today, girl? What we got?
Well, we're going to be talking about a lot of news. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday the 11th, so you're hearing this the day we recorded. So we're going to go into some Spotify artists a little bit. We're going to talk about Cardi B and Offset, some surprising news, some baby news. We're going to go over the numbers from Scorpion last week. We told you guys we'd cover that. We're going to talk about the Gorillaz, the Avid Brothers, and Donald Glover might be in some hot water. We're also going to go into sports. And I think that's pretty much what we're going to cover today.
Mm-hmm. And I will start out the show with my song of the week. I'm from Houston, and it's summertime now, and there's one song you will always hear when you're in Houston during the summertime. It's one of those songs that you just get in your slab, you drive real slow, you just go slabbing around, and it's Summertime by Slim Thug and Zero.
When I hear summertime, I just think of that Vine of Riff Raff. It goes, summertime, and then starts singing Panteria.
Which is also another Houston rapper, and we're going to see in August. And he's coming at live Twisted J, and we're pretty excited for that. I know I want to get an interview with him.
I'm so pumped. But
to meet that neon icon.
The
Peach Panther. Yeah.
And my song, oh gosh, it's so cliche, but whatever. Honestly, people are saying that like Selena Gomez's, I think it's called Back to You, is the song of the summer. Nah. It's in my feelings. It's 100% in my feelings. I went to Dallas last weekend. I went to Warped Tour. We'll talk a little bit about Warped Tour too. But I went to Warped Tour on Friday, and then Saturday, we went out, went to a club in Dallas, and it was so funny to like see just dudes getting so hyped to that song. It was great. And then it was funny to see some dudes singing Boot Up too. That was funny. But yeah, In My Feelings is 100% my song of the week, my song of the summer. I'll probably be listening to it in October. But in October, I'll probably transition to some Post Malone.
For our Posty Fest.
Yeah. But so what news we got today?
Well, I don't know if y'all remember a little bit. We talked about last week. The Carter had they had an issue with their stage. They had this floating stage, and it got stuck there, and Beyonce had to come down off of a ladder.
Gracefully, of course.
Of course. Well, we had a similar thing happen this week. While Gorillaz had to cut their headlining set at the Rockslide Festival short on Saturday after the guest artist Del the Funky Homo Sapien. And if you know Del the Funky Homo Sapien, he was a part of the group, and he did Clint Eastwood back in 2001. So he came back for the song, and the fall happened during the last song on the set, the Clint Eastwood, and Del was rapping the 2001 original, and he was joining the band at the Denmark Festival to reprise his part in that song. The hip-hop artist later goes to tweet that he's doing all right, but he will be in the hospital for a bit, and he's going on to praise the Danish medical care.
Ooh.
So, man, I just don't understand. What's up with these artists, man? Everybody's having some issue happen. And actually, if you haven't seen the video, it's pretty hilarious because he's just walking and singing and then just whoop, falls right off. And it's just like, okay.
We watched it on Monday, right? And it's literally like a cartoon. Like, the cartoons where they'll like throw the little black circle on the ground and they'll just keep walking and just like fall into it. Because literally he wasn't looking. He wasn't looking at the stage. He didn't know where the stage ended. And he's just literally just like walking off a cliff. He just like gradually walks off.
Yeah, gravity doesn't work unless you look down. Haven't you ever seen any cartoon ever?
I mean, yeah. That's why I'm clumsy now.
Yeah, but he just like walked straight off the stage, so he had to go to the hospital, and they ended up canceling the rest of that concert, which, well, luckily was near the end of the end of their set. So
they got their money's worth.
Exactly, we got their money's worth. And then another issue with the band we had on Saturday, the Avett Brothers decided to cancel a sold-out show in Oregon after a man with a gun broke through security and could not be found. Which is kind of scary. I know we had, wasn't it with Ariana Grande in, I think, France or Britain? I know it was in Europe, and she got it.
The UK.
Yeah, and they got attacked. They bombed her.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, see, to me, it's crazy because, like, not to get like historical or political or anything, but like since 9/11, like TSA has been ramped up and up and up and up, and you would think that security has been too. And you're like, I mean, I flew over spring break, and I was just like all the stuff that I have to go through to literally get on this plane is ridiculous. Or like, when I went to Warped Tour, I wasn't allowed to take a blanket in. You can take a towel, but not a blanket. And I was like, I don't understand this. And so you're like, wow, these like security rules are so strict, but obviously not. Like, obviously they need to be more strict. They're more specific.
Well, I'm just curious. How did I'm assuming they were just patting him down. They found it, and the guy just took off, sprinted through the crowd, and just left, is what I'm assuming happened. I mean, it was a sold-out show, so I could see that happening. You know, there's a lot of people kind of just blending with the crowd, which still, that's scary to think of. So they ended up, of course, canceling the show, and they later had a statement that said, due to the obvious threat posed by someone in the audience with a firearm, we were obligated for the safety of everyone present to cancel the performance, and it was unfortunate that such action had to be taken, but we have no regret in being in the position to make a decision which helps to keep our fans safe. So they pretty much didn't want anybody getting hurt. They didn't want anybody to have to worry about anything, so they just went ahead and canceled it, and they said they plan to reschedule the concert soon. So,
well, that's good. It's good that they want to reschedule.
I just personally think it's crazy that this stuff is even being an issue to begin with.
Yeah. Honestly, not to get into gun violence, but it's so nuts how often it's happening nowadays. I'm glad that they were able to prevent this. Because just think about what would have happened if they wouldn't have, you know? Nuts. That would have been insane. I'm
kind of curious to see how, I'm assuming when the guy broke through with the gun, did everybody know that? Like, would have been kind of a panic if they had just been like, hey, dudes with a gun here, everybody leave kind of deal, you know?
That's insane.
I think it's quite, I think it's crazy to even have to worry about that. But, I mean, that's the world we live in. We kind of have to deal with that and work with that.
Yeah, not a lot of people are, it's crazy that you have to be on guard. You have to, like, consciously think, like, oh, you know, I need to prepare just in case this does happen.
Well, which is insane because, I mean, if you come to a concert, you're just there to hang out, listen to music. That's all. I mean, you're just there for a good time. And I just don't understand why people go out of their way to ruin other people's days or try to do just these silly things. And I just don't understand it.
And I don't know if you gotten into specifics about what kind of gun it was, but, lately it's been at these concerts, it's been mass shootings, which is nuts.
I'm fairly sure it doesn't
probably a
say.
handgun.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but I would assume that it's a handgun if he was able to just run away and not be found. Because I feel like if you're holding like a rifle or an assault weapon or a shotgun, that's kind of like
obvious,
you know.
You can't just hide that.
It's really hard to hide that. So I'm assuming it's a handgun. Again, the news story doesn't say what kind of gun it was, but I will have to go off and assume that it is a handgun because he never got caught or found.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm glad that they were able to cancel that concert and avoid anything.
And everybody's okay.
Keep everyone safe. In some much lighter and happier news, Cardi B and Offset had their baby yesterday. They had their baby Tuesday night. She announced it on Wednesday. She also put out a Instagram of her nude maternity photo, kind of like Beyonce's. It was similar. They're comparable.
And they had stated back in June that they had secretly got married, correct?
We'll see. Yeah. This was 2 weeks ago, literally. So I didn't even know. Their daughter's name is, it's Cardi B's first child. Cardi B's 25, by the way. This is her first child, and it's Offset's fourth. So the baby's name is Culture Kiari Cephas. Offset's name is Kiari Kendall Cephas.
Okay. So
basically, his daughter is named after him. That's where the middle name, last name comes from, because they are married. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, yeah, they announced it 2 weeks ago that back in September they tied the knot. Cardi B actually came out and said, I can't say one of the words, but well, now since you little nosy know, at least you can stop saying I had a baby out of wedlock. And she tweeted that on June 25th. So on June 25th, we found out that they were officially married. And now they just welcome their baby and have a happy little family.
Well, that, and then isn't Offset like 26, or he's around the same age, right?
I will look it up, but I don't think that he's 26 himself. Yeah. So I mean, they're pretty young.
Which, well, I mean, that's crazy that that's his fourth child. I mean, his first child with Cardi. And so we'll kind of interested to see how that works out. I hope everything works out for them in the end.
I hope so, too. I know they had a lot of drama to begin with, but I'm very, very glad that they are a happy little family.
And then now they just introduced this new baby girl, and I hope they...
Culture Chiari, spelled with K's. So.
And I hope, I hope they have a wonderful relationship, have a wonderful time with this child, man.
Yeah.
And congratulations out to Cardi B and Offset.
Welcoming a baby into the world is a beautiful thing, so.
And we're going to go a little bit about Donald Glover. He's reportedly being sued by record label Glassnote Records and has apparently sued him for roughly $700,000 in Childish Gambino's streaming royalties. And Childish Gambino, if you didn't know, is currently signed to RCA, but he has previously released, he had 3 albums under Glassnote. So, and the label's reportedly saying that it's honored its side of the streaming deal, that it's resulted in payments of $8 million to Glover from Glassnote. So apparently all the streaming money went straight to Childish Gambino, straight to Donald Glover, and none of the money went to Glassnote. So Glover was supposedly paid for streaming royalties without his label getting a cut, where one of his labels, which 3 of his albums were under. So that's interesting to see how that's going to work out, which I don't really understand how they could have circumvented the records in the first place to where they didn't get their payment. I don't understand. I thought the payments go through the record company, and the record company then pays the artist. So that's kind of interesting. I don't understand how that works out.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's funny that happened that way, because usually it's the artists aren't making as much money as you think they are.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because, they're, and I didn't know that Childish Gambino was, I thought he was, independent. I didn't know that he had a record company. But usually, they'll get so much money in sales and make so much money from these albums, but they're not seeing much of it.
Mm-mm.
And so it's funny to me that his record label didn't get any of it.
Well, it's also interesting because I don't know what, for one stream, you get half a penny, very, very little money. You get less than a penny per stream. So, I mean, that's over 8 million streams just to cover that $8 million. So again, I don't really understand how the streaming works. I don't understand that platform, how that, but it seems like that streaming platforms like Spotify just give it to the artist. We're going off of another thing that Spotify. This is Spotify. This is what they're telling artists, and it's don't sign to labels. Spotify wants to cut labels out of this equation entirely. In an op-ed they published on Spotify's website for artists, Greg Puciato of the Dillinger Escape Plan and the Black Queen, it says that he's been happy with his decision to self-release his last 2 albums, and he goes, "Why limit yourself to any rules at all, except for the rule of being true to yourself?" So this view is consistent with Spotify's recent moves to deal directly with artists in a role that gives it both more control and more potential profit. So maybe that's kind of where they came with it. They just completely circumvented Donald Glover's labels entirely, and so I guess they're sending the money straight to artists and not to their record companies.
Okay, so what do you think about that? Because I think it's going to I don't want to say kill the music industry, but I think it will kill the label industry, and I think that it will put more artists out there and make more artists more comfortable to put their stuff out there, because they know at the end of the day that, I mean, if you're going to be the one to produce the music, I mean, there's talented producers out there, and there's talented artists out there who can produce and then not just sing, but make their own music. Right. And so I think that this will allow them to, number one, be more free about it. But number two, I think that, they're going to start making more money. And actually, because a lot of people in music, you'll hear them say, like, it's a good mixture. Some of them are pretty much in it for the money because they know that they will make a lot of money doing this song. And then a good portion of them are like, I'm not going to make a lot of money from this, but I'm doing it because it's what I love to do.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens if, say I'm an artist, I record, I produce my own music, all that money is mine. What do you think?
Well, based off of the information given about Childish Gambino and about Spotify's their op-ed to artists, what I'm assuming is Spotify is the reason that he's even being sued in the first place. Well, I do believe that their record, he owes his record company money because that's part of his contract. I don't think it was his fault. I think it's Spotify's fault that he's in this pickle. Because that's the way that they want to go. They don't want to have to go through labels, and which I see this is better for artists on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Because all that money goes directly to them.
Yeah.
Which and we had already discussed. When the money per stream isn't that much at all. It's less than a penny.
Well, yeah, and so, but I think think about that. So if you're going to a label and they're putting these music on these streaming platforms. If you're making not even a penny per stream, right? Mm-hmm. Think about how much, if you, have this song, if this music is streamed or whatever, even if you're getting a decent amount, portions of that is going to go to your record label.
Right.
So you're not going to see much of it. So I think that, I think it'll make the music industry boom itself. I think it's going to kill the record label industry, but...
Well, I'd found out it is actually 0.00397 cents per stream.
Not even a third, not even 1/300th of a penny.
So, I don't think that it's going to take think labels away per se.
No. But I think it'll decrease. Some of the big names aren't gonna.
Well, I think this is more for smaller names.
That's what I'm saying. So
big names won't really be affected by this.
No. Big name record labels, they'll be fine. But I think that the little record labels that
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like this is definitely a better move for the little guy.
Yeah,
these small artists out there that
absolutely.
They have really good music, but they're just not on these platforms.
Me, I'm a rapper, but no one knows it. But yeah,
exactly.
I'm independent now, and I just dropped my record label 2 seconds ago. I just texted them, so.
And this way they don't have to worry about they still have to go get studio time, get studio quality music to put on there, but they don't have to worry about all these other fees or contracts with a record label or anything. They can self-release these things and put them straight onto the streaming platforms to where they can instantly get money off of it.
This is going to be great for do-it-yourself people.
Compared to you have to go out to you have to get a record label to sign you. And then you have to sign up for your time to get everything done. And then everything goes into production. Then you get it all done. You get it turned out. They start sending out mixtapes to different radio stations, different thing that's going on. And then they finally go out and sell it. And then they try to market it and get everything done. While, this artist could go months without getting any revenue from this music compared to, they can just put it instantly onto the streaming platforms. It might not be a lot of money, but, they get something.
Okay, so question. Drake has said in his last album that, basically after this album drops, he's not going to, his contract is up.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to do? Because remember last week we talked about maybe he'll start his own label, but do you think that maybe he'll start self-releasing and become a trillionaire?
See, I could definitely see him just going with his OVO label.
OVO sound?
Yeah, and just making his own, either self-releasing under OVO or making his own label just like that, kind of just like Kanye has his own.
Yeah.
So, I could see him doing that. The OVO sound has enough following behind it that I feel like that could be the next thing for him, because he was saying he was wanting to leave the record company he was with now. They said this was going to be the last one, and we had kind of talked about maybe that's why he did a double album, is because maybe he still has 2 albums on his contract with this record label, so maybe he's just trying to get that out so he can be free to do his own little thing.
And see, that's actually really smart now that I think about it, because I mean, I don't know I don't know how these contracts work, but I'm assuming that or I mean, I guess if it were me, I'd say you're going to do this many albums with us, you're going to do them within this amount of time, like say I want you to do 4 or 8 albums with us within 8 years or like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So that's really smart, actually, for him to just go ahead and drop 2 of them and be done with it.
I feel like Drake is a big enough name and OVO Sound is a big enough name that he's just going to make his own label. He doesn't need to just self-release on Spotify. I mean, he makes way more money with making these CDs, making these albums, touring, doing everything. He's a big enough name to where he doesn't have to worry about that, per se.
Yeah.
Plus, OVO Sound, he'd make his own label. He can bring up the up-and-comers kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I think so.
Lil Wayne was with Nicki and all them, did all that.
Yeah, he brought them up. Lil Wayne was with Drake, too.
Mm-hmm.
Cash Money.
Yep.
So.
Birdman.
Birdman.
So, I mean, I'm interested to see how this all works out. I doubt, like, they're never not going to be labels for a while, but it is definitely interesting, and I like it. I think it's a good idea for them to cut out the labels and go straight to the artists. I mean, this helps out the smaller names tremendously, because it's a lot less money to start up, and then they can receive income immediately. It may not be a lot. So, I mean, you're getting hundreds of a penny per stream, but over time, at least you're getting something.
Yeah, exactly. This will definitely help out the little guy.
And you don't have to wait for that money. You don't have to wait for your label to be like, yeah, okay, you earned this, blah blah blah. So I like it. I agree with it. We'll see how it goes. I don't think, like I said, I don't think labels will be cut out entirely. I do feel like this is a very good platform for the little guy. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that the big name labels will be fine, but I think those little labels are probably going to be a little worried. So, the Cypher.
We finally had our 2018 XXL Cypher come out. You know what, Sade? Give us your take on that. What do you think about that?
Just what I thought. Trash. No, I'm kidding. Actually, but honestly, there was only a couple of them that I actually liked. No, that's being too generous. There was I like Stefflon Don's and I like JID's. Other than that, I'm not into like new age rap. I like the words, right?
Yeah.
So if I can't understand what you're saying, then
Not
like
mumble rap kind of.
I'm not into mumble rap. I like a good beat, but I prefer the lyrics to be good.
Yeah,
so like that's why like In My Feelings, that's my song of the summer, but like
hence why you're a big Lil Pump fan.
Like, oh my god, I don't like Lil Pump at all whatsoever. I don't want you on record. I don't want to be on record saying that I like Lil Pump or support him. I think that A Skid It is a very catchy song that I still listen to. I rewrote Gucci Gang, no lie. I rewrote that song to Nike Gang because I'm obsessed with Nike.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
except you're about to have to go get some of those Adidas.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it.
Screw you, Drake. You need your stuff.
Honestly, Drake, I'm sorry, but I cannot betray my future company like that. I can't do it. I'm a future employer. I'm too loyal. But yeah, I didn't really like them. Stuff I like the only person I really like out of this year, Slump Mask or Ski Mask, the Slump God. He's alright. I like Stefflon Don.
YB and Namir wasn't too terrible either.
No. His was pretty. See, using the term "pretty good" is very subjective, but his was okay. I'll say his was okay. Stefflon Don's was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of Ski Masks.
Mm-hmm.
Trippie Redd didn't even show up.
Well, Trippie Redd, yeah, he didn't end up going because he felt, and this is his own words, he says that he was going to get a trash beat and he just wanted to do the freestyle portion instead. He didn't want to be part of the cypher because he just knew that he's gonna get bad beat. It was gonna be trash. He didn't really want to be a part of it. So he said, I just don't want to do it. So I'm not gonna do the cipher, which is very interesting because he barely made it onto the XXL list because the day that it was announced, he ended up getting arrested.
Yeah, exactly. So like, his freestyle was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I like Trippie Redd. I like some of the music that he has out. I like some of the artists that he's featured on. So, I'm kind of upset that he didn't do a cipher, but I don't know. I feel like if you don't listen to these ciphers, you'll be fine. Like, you're not gonna forget about them. I mean, you're not missing out on anything. Mm-hmm. I feel like, honestly, I know this is bad, but like one of the most memorable ciphers for me was Lil Dicky's, because like he takes his freestyles and stuff like that and turns them into songs.
Well,
so
I loved watching the cipher for Lil Dicky because he did his cipher with Designer and Anderson
.Paak, yeah.
Yeah, Anderson .Paak, and he just looks so confused the entire time definitely between Designer. You know, Designers sound cool, but I don't know a word he said.
Designer is one of those rappers that like, Designer's a mumble rapper, but he doesn't mean to be. I just don't know what he's saying.
He sounds cool. I just don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand, and that's okay. That's okay, because Panda.
Yeah, but I just always remember seeing Lil Dicky's face in the background looking so confused about what is going on. And I was like, I feel that. I understand.
He hit that cipher hard, though. But, yeah. I mean, I think that also back then, I don't know, some of the last couple of ciphers have been very, like, attackative kind of versus, like, man, like being on the XXL, like number one, that used to be it still is a huge feat, but like it used to be something that like
you're not going to turn down being on the cipher of XXL back in the day. Like it was
it wasn't a choice.
It was unheard of.
And these rappers have been out there for a little bit, but it was just kind of low key. I feel like nowadays it's like they got one good song and then and it's not even good. It's just saying the word Gucci Gang 32 times. It's kind of trash, but whatever. It's catchy, so it gets played on the radio. And then they come out with another one that's just as trash, but it's catchy, and so it gets played on the radio. And so there you go. You're asked, and you're in this Hall of Fame with these other amazing rappers. But like, and you might be pulling the same numbers, but I don't know. For me, it's all about context.
Right. Yeah. So. And I always enjoy seeing these artists because a lot of these artists are artists that I've already listened to. I enjoy, so I like to see them be put in the fire, do these, do the cipher, do their freestyles. I want to see this because I feel like you can see a lot of an artist from when they do it when it's not already pre-recorded or predetermined what they're going to be saying, what they're going to be singing, and they're just put on the spot. And that's when you run into lyrical geniuses like Lil Dicky to where they just tear it up.
J. Cole.
And then there's other artists you just, one, like, they just sound bad. Two, you can't understand them. Three, they're just rapping about some random things that make zero sense or are not pertinent to the song at all. So, I don't know. And we already know, I already discussed my favorite of this XXL list this year is Stefflon Don. I feel like she had a solid freestyle. Cypher was pretty solid. I enjoy her the music probably one of the most out of all of 2018 this year. I hadn't heard of her before it, but now that I had, I did some research on her. I started listening to her. I enjoy her. I enjoy her, and she's probably my top pick for this 2018 XXL.
I'm gonna say, well, I picked beforehand, and I don't remember who I picked, honestly. And I think that was just based on, like, their freestyles and stuff. Uh-huh. Based on their ciphers, I think I'm going to have to say JID. JID's cipher was really good. I liked it a lot. He flows really well. Okay. So I think that's where I'm going to have to go. Sports. World Cup.
We had the World Cup. I was saying that I wanted either Russia or Brazil to win. Unfortunately, they both got knocked out.
So we were both wrong last week.
I know. We had talked about how we had such a good good record up until this point about just being able to say, yeah, this is what's going to happen, and it ends up happening.
So, well, now it's
It's going to be France ended up beating Belgium.
yeah, they just beat Belgium.
So it's going to be today. I believe we have the match today, and it's going to be
Yes.
Croatia versus England. So
I'm going for the UK.
yeah, I want to see France versus England. I would like to see that in the final. So that's what we still got going on there.
Yeah, that's
But-
what we still got going on in the World Cup. And then, you know who Gordon Hayward is?
No.
Okay, so he plays for the Celtics, right?
Okay.
His wife and him have 3. I'm sorry, that was grammatically incorrect. He and his wife have 2 kids, 1 on the way.
Okay.
They did the gender reveal, and it was a cute little video. At their house, they were just in the front yard, and they had a box with balloons in it. And they opened it up, and well, take a guess what it was, and take a guess what he wanted. Because you don't know anything about this.
No,
So what do you think he wanted? I mean, he's a basketball player. What do you think he wanted?
obviously he's going to be wanting, just like any other athlete out there, they're going to want a son.
Yeah.
You know, I know I want a son. I want him to be better at football than I am. I would love that to happen, honestly.
So they have two daughters already.
Okay,
So-
did he end up getting a third daughter, or did he finally get a son?
So now he got a third daughter.
Oh,
And so
poor man. Poor man.
he opens up the box and like they open up the box, right, and pink balloons fly out, and he goes, "Oh, yay." And then like his daughters are playing with the balloons, and he's just like has one, he just like throws them off to the side, and his wife's like, "Is daddy happy?" And he goes, "Daddy's always happy." And then but it was funny. The funniest part to me was like Twitter reactions, because somebody was on Twitter and it was like, Gordon Hayward, "Daddy's always happy." And then but on that day, Daddy was not happy. But he wasn't. And I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny because, you know, all these athletes, you think of them as athletes. You don't really necessarily like realize until off season, oh, they got families. But yeah, that was just a cute little moment to see. And then also like, whoa, they're human too. He really wanted a son.
That poor man, because daughters are always more expensive, and definitely as a guy, I can't say no to my daughter, so I feel bad for him because now he's got 3 of them.
Exactly.
And
Well,
oof.
and so then also just a little sports blurb. I thought it was kind of funny. So obviously we talked about last week, LeBron is with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry went on record and he said when talking about the competition in the Western Conference, he said the West obviously got stronger with LeBron, but you still got to beat us.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't want to say them's as fighting words, but all I'm gonna say is the Warriors swept them in 4.
Look, all I can say is it doesn't matter. The Rockets are going to beat them next year, and the Rockets are going to be in the finals, so it's whatever.
All I'm saying is literally it's going to be the Lakers versus the Warriors, and I still think the Warriors are going to take it in 5 games. That is a prediction I'm making right now. I'm not a sports commentator. I know, well, no, I can't say I know. I know a lot of sports, but I'm just going to say that right now. I'm going to speak it into existence.
Still, like I said, I'm still thinking that Rockets are going to win. I hope they do, and I'm excited to see that happen.
We'll see, because, I would love to see the Raptors go somewhere, but that's not going to happen. I would love for my teams to do. I love the Mavericks. I'd like to see them go far, but I'm realistically, I'm like, no.
Well, I'm saying him saying making the statement, it's a pretty big statement. I mean, they are defending world champ.
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how that plays out.
They are defending champions, but I don't. They're saying all this to LeBron. I don't think he's going to make it to play LeBron next year in the finals because they're going to get knocked out by the Rockets.
Okay,
That's what I'm going to say because I love my Rockets.
Okay, hopefully a year from now, we're still doing this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be like, so Bob, how'd the Rockets do this week?
Oh, they're going to have won, so it's okay. It'll be all good.
All right, we're gonna bet some money on it. Not really, but because gambling is illegal in the state of Texas.
Not true. We have one. We have one casino. It's off of Lake Livingston. You're welcome.
That's good.
But so what all had to happen this weekend? We had Warped Tour. Tell us a little bit about that, girl.
Well, no personal stories aside, so I'm gonna tell a personal story.
Okay.
Oh, this weekend was absolutely nuts. So me and my roommate are like, so the way that Warped Tour is announced, right? You know the lineup, like you know who's going to be there, but you don't know what times they're going to play.
Right.
And you don't know what stage they're going to be on. So we woke up late. And when I say late, I mean like we woke up at like 9 instead of 8. And we were going to try and leave about 9. We didn't leave until like 10:30. So I missed 303.
Oh, wow.
I know, I was so upset.
So you didn't get to tell everybody that you're a vegetarian.
And I'm not scared of your boyfriend. Exactly. I didn't get to. Katie did, though, and I got plenty of vids, so that was fine. I got to meet up with Katie. But, so yeah, we missed 303, which sucked. We got there, and our Airbnb was a whole different story, because I was like, we thought we were staying in bunk beds in one room. Turned out there was 5 beds in a room. And everyone was supposed to be, you know, sleeping in one room, and it was fine. It wasn't fine with us. We decided to get a hotel, whatever.
Huh.
But, so we got to Warped Tour, finally. I really only saw 3 bands.
Did you see We the Kings or no?
No,
Oh, man.
I didn't get to. I really wanted to.
See, that was one of the bands I really wanted to go. I've seen I believe it's the bass guitar. He does he vlogs, and he did the Internet Killed Television. He vlogging every day for, I think it's been like 5 years now or something insane.
Wow.
I know he has a Guinness record of the most vlogs.
Consecutive vlogs,
Because
probably.
he's done it. I believe he ended up quitting. He stopped doing that. He still vlogs, but I don't think he does it every day. As of a couple months ago, I think he stopped doing that. But which I think would be extremely difficult. I mean, you're showing people your life every day for 5 years. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that'd be very stressful on your relationship, on just your home life.
That's a lot to do, too.
And then you're trying to keep up this record. You're like, what if I'm sick? What if something happens? What if I can't make an episode? Like, it's just like, man, that's insane. That's a crazy feat. I like their music, so I was really wanting to go see them. And then I was like, man, I've never seen him in real life. I've listened to his music online. I've seen his vlog, so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see him live. But unfortunately, I didn't get to end up going to Warped Tour this year. So,
well, yeah, I didn't get to see him, but I did get to see a little bit of Mayday Parade, which was dope. I was really excited to see Bowling for Soup, right? Just because, like, they're that classic, like, you know, that classic, like, 90s band that, like, I listen to all the time. And, like, when I like, hesitated to say 90s because I was like, whoa. No. But the 90s were literally, like, almost 30 years ago now.
Oh, gosh, that's right. I am.
Like, the late 90s were 20 years ago.
I am about.
I'm 21.
Yeah, I was like, I'm about to be in my late 20s. So, yeah, that's about right. And also, I like that generation of that indie rock of that 90s era.
It was just like pop
phenomenal,
punk, and I loved
man.
it. So I got to watch them play Ohio. If you don't know Ohio, that is just the classic, just like, it's so good. And then the other song that they did a couple other songs. It was funny. One of the funniest things that they did, right, was like, we don't know if we're gonna have enough time to go between our two most popular songs. One of them is Stacy's Mom, and everybody starts cheering. And I look at my roommate and I was like, bro, that's Fountains of Wayne. 100% that is Fountains of Wayne. And then he goes, stop cheering, that's not even our song, that's Fountains of Wayne. And I was like, haha, sucker. But then again, so they sang 1985, which that's, you know, also another classic 90s song. And I learned something new.
What'd you learn?
They sing the Phineas and Ferb theme song.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, because they played it, and I was like, because he was like, here's a classic song, like, it's a sing-along song, I'm pretty sure you know it, so, like, sing it. And we're all like, 1985, okay. Because they had just done Ohio, and I was like, of course, it's 1985, it has to be. And then it goes, there's 104, and I was like, no. And of course, I knew every word, but I was like, what? How? But it was funny because, like, one girl, you know, flashed, and he was like, I don't know how I feel about this, because now we're like 40-year-old old dudes up on the stage. He was like, but it's good for
20 years ago.
He's like, but it's good for my son, because, you know, he's getting to see boobs today. And I was like, oh, dear God. But he was like, there's a lot of different rumors about why Warped Tour is ending. And really, it just comes down to, we're a bunch of 40-year-old men up on the stage singing about high school. So, and he was joking, but, like, we started thinking about it, and we're like, wow, like, a lot of the bands that really, like, started Warped Tour that were super, like, popular during Warped Tour are getting older now. And, the rock scene isn't what it is. It isn't what it was.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about, like, that 90s indie rock. Man, back in Houston, 94.5, The Buzz, that's all it was that indie rock, I think at 10 o'clock, it was, like, Mandatory Metallica. Man, it was a great station. That's when you're listening to all these bands, like Linkin Park, 3-inch nail or 9-inch nails, Three Doors Down, like all those, Smashing Pumpkins, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And then I go back like this year and start listening to it, and I'm like, man, what the heck has happened to this music?
Yeah, it's not. Oh, it's so hard to like. So I'm the music producer, so like when I send out music on the station, it's so hard to kind of decide like what can we play on here versus what we can't, because you have to make sure it's not too poppy. And I feel like rock music nowadays is either
it's a lot of pop
super
rock
harsh pop rock or like way alternative. And I mean, we play alternative, I like alternative, I like it all, so it's just really kind of hard to distinguish between. And I feel like I'm sad that it's leaving. I'm really glad though that I got to go to Warped Tour. Hey Bob, maybe you can go next year.
Yeah, maybe I can make it next year. I knew I wanted to go this year. I went back in like I think 2013, so I figured I might as well hit the last one, but I just couldn't end up making it. I had other plans. I couldn't do it.
Better luck next time. But it was a good time. Got to meet up with Katie. How jealous are you?
Extremely, because I didn't get to see her. I got back late because I was down in Fort Worth, and so I didn't get to see her. So I was kind of mad about that. But it is coming to an end. But I feel like there's going to be something else to pick it up, and it might not be like our kind of thing. It might not be our kind of music, but I do believe that's that next generation of like the indie rock.
I honestly hope so, because like the thing about Warped Tour is like not all of these bands have the same sound,
right? But
they kind of like they're all rock. I would love to see just like a tour, just like a 3-month tour during the summer that's got a little bit of everything, a little bit of rock, a little bit of pop, a little bit of country, like a little bit of EDM. Yeah. Like I think that would be dope, just because like thinking about like, and Warped Tour is one of those things like you can't come and go, but like it's an all-day thing for like 6 hours or so.
Right.
Like if you want to show up late, you can. So like
you just might not be able to see like 303.
You know what? I don't want to talk about it. Shush, Bop. Shush your lips. Do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips. Okay.
But I do think, Warped Tour was kind of that 90s alternative, grungy kind of rock kind of deal. I feel like, it is time for them to close, time to end, and that next generation of this indie rock style that we have coming up, I believe, will be taking its place.
Yeah, and I think that
it might not be, it might not be what we enjoy listening to all the time, but it's that next generation. It's just like, they had Woodstock.
Yeah.
And then
Burning Man,
Ozfest, all these things, and
Posty Fest is coming out, and I think that we're gonna move away from tours, and I think we're gonna move more into festivals that are
That's what it's been seeming. There's been so many different festivals coming up. There's a lot of EDM festivals, country festivals. I mean, we have the best one here is LJT.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there. No, I wasn't, and I won't ever go. Maybe I might.
You know what? Hey, I'd never gone. This was the first year I've ever gone. I only went for 2 days. Let me tell you what. You need to go at least once before you leave.
So I won't be there next year. But I think that we're moving more towards, and I think that it's honestly better for sales too. Because if you think about it, Posty Fest, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be. I just looked at it. October 28th in Dallas. That is the one day and the one location for Posty Fest so far announced. So if it's going to be in any other time, we don't know yet. But I'm thinking he's really just going to do it that one day. Think about how many people are going to go to Dallas that day. How many people out of state are going to go to Dallas?
Well, this is how I feel about like festivals over, let's say, people going on tour and concerts. A lot of people are busy. Like, they can't make multiple different concerts, but they can make that one night where they get to see like 8 people. You know, I feel like that more people are more down to do that.
Yeah.
Compared to trying to chase different artists on their tours. Which, I mean, I agree. I would love to. If I could just go to one show a year, has all the artists that I want to see, boom, done, I'd be amazing, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think it's also really cool to, like, because, you know, that's where he's from. He's from, like, the Fort Worth area. So I think it's really cool to, like, highlight, this is where I'm from, this is where I'm performing. So I think it's super cool. Just like Coachella, but not as many days.
Right.
So I think that we're getting more into festival culture and less into tours.
Right.
Which, you know, is what it is. I think that it's going to be more people are going to have to go places, to go to concerts, but I always like that aspect of it.
Well, I've never been down, or like I've never been against traveling to go somewhere, but
me neither.
But when it's like, if I have traveled to see like one artist, and I've traveled like 8 hours to go see him because I really enjoy him. But man, if I could just go and there's several artists I want to see, I would love to do it. That's 100%. How I agree. I like that, and I hope that's how it kind of goes. You know, I still have your tours and whatnot, but you know, like once a year, I just have like a big festival and just all the different artists that you like. And I would love to have that. That way, you can just go to one, be done.
I think so too.
That way, you know, it's less money. You don't have to worry about all that money, all that time. You get extra time to do other things, but you still get to see all the artists that you want to see.
Exactly. So we've talked about like our hopefuls and like our predictions for Posty Fest. And this just popped into my head. One of my roommates calls him Easy G, but G-Eazy. You think he'll be there? I think.
Well, G-Eazy, I mean, I know he's been doing stuff with like Yo Gotti and YBM Namir, and they're more of a kind of style that I could see with Post Malone. Yeah. And I could definitely see G-Eazy being there.
I could see him showing up. Can we talk about for a half a sec his breakup with Halsey? Because I knew it was going to happen, and now she has to cut his thingy off. He cheated on her. He literally has that in their song. This is the thing. When people in music are together and they do songs together, it's literally like the kiss of death.
Right.
You collab. If you're not married and got a strong foundation, or I won't even say married, but if you don't have a strong foundation, that's the kiss of death. And they did this song together, and they were together, you know. I think that's probably how they got together. But he, you know, said something about if I ever cheated on her, she'd try to cut my off, and he did. So, it's time, buddy.
Well, I know G-Eazy's done a lot. He's done a couple songs with Post Malone, and Post Malone's done a couple with G-Eazy. So, I mean, I could see him being there.
I think that for Posty Fest, it's going to be like a lot of artists that Post Malone has collabed with or wants to collab with. And then I think he's going to throw a couple wrenches in there and just be like...
some random different things that you're just like, oh, well, hey, I didn't really think that we were going to have like Willie Nelson here.
Yeah, no, 100% Willie Nelson is going to be there. Quote me. Well, that's a quote you can use.
All right. So when's coming around, October, if Willie's not there, you know who to talk to is Sade. I'm going to go ahead and close out today on talking about Scorpion. I know we kind of talked about it last week, a little bit of the double album and how much the streaming, it went platinum before it was ever released, all that, whatnot. So we're going to go ahead. Scorpion ended up selling 732,000 total copies in its debut week, but with worldwide tracks on stream, because they had 746 million on-demand streams in America, but they ended up doing a billion worldwide. So he did hit that billion record of streaming in 1 week. He did hit that billion, or it wasn't a record, it was so much as a goal. He ended up hitting that. He beat Post Malone's Beer Bong and Bentley's. I think his was 436,000 streams in the first week, so completely beat that out.
Which we knew was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And he sold another 160,000 traditional copies to the best sales. So this was his 8th straight number 1 album that Drake matched the record currently shared by the Beatles, Eminem, and Kanye West. So it'll be very interesting in this next couple. It will be very interesting to see the next couple albums to see if he can, get a ninth one and end up being the number one and having the record for the most number one albums in a row.
And we talked about Drake being, I don't think he's done with music. I think that he's going to take time off for a little bit, be a dad while his kid's young. But I definitely think that he'll come back and do some more albums, and he'll top that record for sure.
I agree. And remember, just stay tuned with us on every Wednesday. We will be back next Wednesday, and this is only at Wave of the Planet. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe for updates when new episodes drop. And follow our station on Twitter and on Facebook at The Planet 107 to see everything going on at Tarleton Radio.